Hey everyone, Chang here and welcome to my channel. Now for today's Bare Minimum Algebra series, we are going to jump from adding integers, which is the previous video. If you haven't already, please watch that one because I'm going to refer to that one. Once we get that one, the subtracting integer, which is going to be built on that, it's actually a lot more simple than if you're just watching this alone. So definitely check that out. But anyways, as you can guess, we are focusing on subtracting integers. Now, for subtracting integers, there's actually 6 different possible cases that you can encounter. The first one, it's both numbers are positive. The second one, both numbers are negative. Third case, the first number is positive and the second number is negative. The fourth case, the first number is negative, the second number is positive. The fifth case, the first number is a 0, and the sixth case, the second number is a 0. So these are all 6 different cases that you will encounter when subtracting integers. Now, as daunting as it is that there are now 6 cases, different scenarios on what you can encounter when subtracting, the key is that we're going to try to change it into addition problems, and then basically if you watch the other videos, there's only 4 possible cases and we can work with that a lot better. So let's look at that. All right, so before we talk about the different cases, let's talk about that one rule, that one key to make everything a lot easier. It's the idea of changing the problem to adding instead of subtracting. Now, in order to change a problem into adding, these are the 2 steps you have to do. The first one, which is the lovely one, you take the subtraction sign and you change it to the addition sign. The second one, where it gets a little confusing. So after you change the subtraction sign to an addition sign, what you're going to do is you're going to change the second number to its opposite if possible. What that means is that if it is a positive number, let's just say 2, you're going to change it to the negative version of it, negative 2. Same thing, if it's a negative 4, you're going to change it to the opposite, the positive version of 4. And the reason we want if possible, because 0 is not positive or negative, you're not changing anything. You're just going to keep it at 0. And of course, in the middle of recording, I lose battery and change the angle of the camera on accident. So it's going to be a little different, but why not? So the first case is both numbers are positive. Now, I wrote these 2 possible scenarios because guess what? You're going to notice that it actually is pretty darn cool. It just basically ends up falling into the case number 3, I believe, of adding integers. So remember that we're going to change these guys into adding because we don't like subtracting. Subtracting makes it more complicated. Let's just make it our lives a little easier. So first and foremost, we're going to change the sign. So we're going to rewrite the problem over here. So it's going to be 5, and now we're going to have a plus instead of a minus. So this minus, we just change it to a plus, and we still have the 3. Now we have to do the opposite. So when we change the sign, we have to change the basically invisible thing over here as well. So this is a positive 3, right? 5 minus a positive 3. So the opposite of a positive 3 is negative 3. So here it is. And all of a sudden you're just having one positive, one negative number, and you're adding it instead of subtracting them, and you can solve this fairly easily, right? So this second one, same thing. You have the 3 minus 5, we're going to change it. So it's going to be 3, and now we're going to do a plus, and it's going to be 5. This 5 right here is once again an inherent positive, so we're going to do the opposite of it, which is going to make this a negative. And then now we have this case, which is going to be, once again, a part of case number 3 in adding integers. And from then on, you can solve the problem. All right, so the second case, once again, both numbers are negative. And the rule still is the same. We're going to change it to addition, and then, well, guess what? It's a lot more simple. So I'm going to go over it a lot quicker because I feel like at this point, that's all we're doing. We're always changing this to addition problems, and then we carry out in one of the various cases in adding integers. So this one, once again, we're going to have a negative 7, negative 4. Instead of the minus, we're going to have a plus sign now, right? And also because we're changing it, we have to change the negative 4, the opposite of it, which is going to be a positive. So it's just adding, which you can ignore and just do that. And there you go. That's a problem that we're working with. Same variation, right? We have negative 4, -7, we're changing the subtraction sign to an adding sign. We got to make this the opposite. Instead of a -7, we wanted a +7, which now we can just sort of get rid of that extra plus sign. And then we have two lovely addition problems. All right, let's move even quicker because guess what? Same thing, right? Case 3, case 4. Even though it looks like slight variation, we're still following the same rule. We're going to change it to addition, and then we're going to be golden. So let's start off with this. We have 3, -4. We're going to make it a plus sign now because we love plus sign. This one we want to make it the opposite, right? The opposite of -4 is a +4. So there you go. Get rid of that extra plus sign because, I mean, you want it there, that's fine, but just get rid of it so it looks like a nice, cleaner problem. Same thing with case 4, where the first number is negative and the second number is positive. We're going to write -5, and we have a 3 here, right? And we want to make it a plus. Now, since this was inherently a positive, now we're going to have to make this the opposite, which is going to make this negative. So there we go. All of a sudden, we have a case where it's just basically two negative numbers adding together. All right, so the fifth case is basically where the first number is 0. Now, yes, I can go into more complicated, we're changing into addition, blah, 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 but the best thing to do is just to remember exactly this one thing, that if you're having the first number as 0, all you have to do is change the second number to its opposite, and that is your answer. So they're all zeros as the first number, and then you're subtracting whatever number it is. So for example, the first number is technically you're minusing a +4, right? So all you have to do is just get the opposite of a +4, which means the final answer is a -4. Simple as that. All right, the second one, you're subtracting a -7, so you're going to grab that -7, you're going to get the opposite of it, which is a +7, so you can do a plus sign 7 or just 7, and there is your answer. All right, so the last case, the second number is 0. The answer is either 0, if both of them are 0, so 0 minus 0 is going to be always 0, or it's going to be the non-zero number, which is going to be basically whatever is not 0. Fairly simple. All right, so the first one, 3 minus 0, well, guess what? That's a non-zero number. The non-zero number is 3, so the answer is 3. The second one is a -6 minus 0. The non-zero number is a -6, so the answer is -6. Plain and simple. All right, so there you have it. Those are the 6 cases of what you do when you are subtracting integers, right? You will encounter both positive, both negative, first number positive, second number negative, or first number negative, second number positive. The first number is 0, while the second one may or may not be 0. And the last case is the second number is 0, while the first number may or may not be 0. Now, even though there are 6 possible cases, hopefully you noticed from this video that there's actually only really one rule, right? That one rule is that instead of working with the subtraction, because we don't like subtraction, it's more complicated than necessary, we change it to an addition format, addition problem. You change the sign first, then you change the second number to its opposite. If it's positive, you change it to a negative. If it's negative, you change it to a positive. Then you go straight back to just adding integers, and then we have a wonderful, peaceful, seamless life. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.